Welcome to another episode of The Minority Voice. I'm your host, Jeff Vega. And just to give you a little update, remember a couple weeks ago I shared a story about this school teacher that was teaching and showing a, what was it, Blue's Clues on, no, it wasn't Blue's Clues. Do you remember what it was, Dave, about the little kids about masturbation? And Blue's Clues? Okay. Yeah, well, guess what? She resigned. And the reason why was because she felt that she didn't get the support of the administration because of all the heat she was receiving from parents about this. And you know what? Good. And folks, if we're going to win this war, we have to step up and let our voices be heard, and you did. So I want to congratulate you and send kudos out to you for this achievement. And hey, it's one battle at a time. And so I'd like to also talk about the CRT that's out there. And David, if you could put up this post on Breitbart. Well, you know, we just think this has happened in the recent future, but as you can see by this article, Breitbart Andrew was fighting this some 9 years ago, and he was sounding the alarm, and he was calling out pretty much the guru at the time. The guy's name was Derek Bell, and he was kind of like the guy who was really pushing this. And well, he has since departed, so he's had his meeting with his creator, and I hope it turned out well. You know, I don't wish any ill on anybody, but he's there now. So, but that being said, you know, Breitbart, he was calling it out, but you know, the media back then, they put up the smoke screen and you know, they covered it up. And then now today, I don't know if you heard this, Ibram Kendi, you know, he's the new guy, if you will, that's carrying this banner. And but you know, people are calling him out, and it's interesting to see that, you know, they like for you to think that they are open to debate and discussion, but you know, in reality, they're not. But it's a situation now where they've been exposed, and now they're trying to fight back. And you know, one thing about liberals and the American haters, you know, they rely on emotions and feelings, but when they're faced with the facts, they really truly don't know how to respond. And Dave, if you could play this video of Joy Reid.
I'm going to read you to you, and then you respond to it. The activists are realizing that their ideas, once put into practice, are generating discontent, which is you just described. Their racial coalition is also breaking apart. Asian Americans, in particular, revolting against CRT, which is really Christopher Rufo there because you made it up, is punishing them more than any other group. Then you said we have successfully frozen their brand, critical race theory, into the public conversation and are steadily driving up negative perceptions. We will eventually turn it toxic as we put all the various cultural insanities under that brand category. The goal is to have the public read something crazy in the newspaper and immediately think critical race theory. We have decodified the term and will recodify it to annex the entire range of cultural constructions that are unpopular with Americans. Aren't you just taking wokeness stuff that annoys you and calling it critical race theory?
No, not at all. The idea of the codification and decodification of language comes from the critical pedagogist Paulo Freire. And my strategy is to take these...
Now you're doing pedagogy, Christopher?
Yes. To take these techniques and use them against their own ideology. And I'll tell you, Joy, my strategy has been enormously successful. According to the Economist magazine poll, 64% of Americans now know what critical race theory is.
No, they know what Christopher Rufo theory is.
Of which 58% of them
you made up your own thing, bro. You made, my friend, you made up your own thing. You admitted you were going to do it.
He schooled her, and she didn't know how to act. And I would say to you, if you want to watch the whole video, there's a couple more minutes into that. A little too long to play, but you see, she didn't know how to respond. And in all actuality, you know, she cuts him off because she wasn't winning the argument. And the thing is, you see, the American haters, they don't like it when we use the same tactics that they use. You know, they like to think they're exclusive to it. Well, so she got schooled. But that being said, let me jump back over to the schools too, because you know, as I shared earlier about this teacher in the you know, doing the masturbation with these, you know, kindergartners and that, you know, they're now, and Dave, if you put this screenshot up, in the city of Chicago, they are now providing condoms to elementary school kids. 10-year-old kids are getting condoms. Now, I know at 10 years old, I wasn't thinking about getting a girl in bed. Okay, I was thinking about Al Kaline, Norm Cash, Willie Horton, and for those of you who don't know, they were Detroit Tiger players, okay? And that's where my mindset was. And David, okay, you're the next generation. What was you thinking at 10 years old?
Not about condoms.
Okay. All right, so folks, you see, even that generation. But see, what they're doing is they're indoctrinating us with a sexual orientation. And you know what? If they're teaching you masturbation at 5 years old, what do you think you're going to progress to at 10? And so, but as you can see here, that they're promoting that. And if you read the article, if you go to it, one of the lines for the reasoning for it, they say this: it's to keep students healthy and safe. Well, let me say that if you want to keep students healthy and safe, how about teaching them abstinent? Then you don't have to worry about any sexual transmitted diseases or anything, okay? Hey, that's a simple thing. At 10, I think that's a real good thing. And you know what? Yeah, I'll just end it there, but let me show you one more video, because it would not be a show without showing you a parent stepping up at a school board.
My name is Ian Rice. I've got 2 children here at the Caledonia School District. It's very apparent here by all of the parents that have spoken that this board and the school district is failing. More importantly, I came here to talk about critical race theory. This theory was never meant to be brought into grade schools, high schools, at all. It's actually taught in the collegiate atmosphere, and more importantly, the legal portion of the collegiate atmosphere, to see different laws through the lens of race, from an ethics and an ethical standpoint, right? Not for grade schools and high schoolers. The problem with bringing it to high school and grade school level is that we don't have the educators to properly teach these kids. Instead, they're using it as their own agenda to indoctrinate the kids to hate each other. And whether you believe that to be true or not, the reality is that's what's happening. Critical race theory is teaching that white people are bad. That's not true. That would teach my daughter that her mother is evil. You already have an educator within your staff that has pulled my daughter aside and said, well, you're a minority, so you know better than to engage in certain things.
Wow. Wow.
Whoa. When I was brought to the school's attention, nothing happened to the educator. Instead, my daughter was brought in, and she was ridiculed. So my question is now, with critical race theory being brought in, what is your criteria to educate the educators? And who are you to educate my children, or any of our children, in life issues? That's our job.
Yes.
Your job is to teach them math and science. Our job is to teach them about life. I believe racial issues and tensions across the U.S. are nowhere near what they used to be decades ago. Do we have a long way to go? Sure. Do we still have individuals out there that need to be taught? Absolutely. But I believe the people here don't look at me as a black man. They look at me as a man standing in front of you addressing the issue that we all are very passionate about.
You gotta love it. This parent speaks his mind. And you know what I like about it? When you get minorities up there speaking, they don't know how to act. And this gentleman, if you caught it, it was a little long, but his wife is white. And that really puts him in a predicament because, you know, his daughter is white, half white. So when you teach us critical race theory and you're saying whites are inherently racist because of their pigment in their skin, you're talking about his daughter. And you see how he let the school know that he didn't appreciate them calling out his daughter. But if you notice too in that, he also said, you know, not only are you failing to teach the kids your responsibility of math, science, and that, but he also reminded them it's our job as parents to teach them life skills and that. And that's something we need to be able to do when we go into these meetings, how this guy acted and presented himself. And you know what? You heard the crowd cheer for him. You know, remember, if you're going to go there and you need to go there, take somebody with you, because there are strengths in numbers. And if we're going to win this battle, which we are going to win it, you know, as I mentioned earlier, this critical race theory has been around for over 9 years. So we're a little bit behind, okay? And so understand that it's going to take a little time, but they're on their heels now, and we're going to win this battle. So until next time, Joshua 24:15.